Hello, hello, hello. Here we are back together again. Well, I just read some interesting news this morning. If you saw my community post, um, shit's getting weird. How's everybody? Just popping on randomly like I do. You can watch this back or um, join me, shall you? I know it's been a long time. It's been a long time. So they're claiming I'm like, I wonder what's going on with true crime. Like, what's going on with the Koberger case? What's going on with Delphi case? Because I'm just out of the loop. I'm like watching 90 Day Fiance and uh, started watching The Lost Kitchen, if you've ever seen that. So I'm like, not on, and I watch YouTube, but I'm not watching true crime. I just don't know what's going on. So anyway, um, so this morning I was like looking up stuff, like what's going on with this and that. And first I got on Coburger and I'm like, man, this is just crazy. They don't want cameras in the courtroom. And then Richard Allen wants cameras in the courtroom. I'm like, Richard Allen, of course he wants cameras in the courtroom. Brian Koberger doesn't want cameras in the courtroom. And then looking at, Kaylee's parents are talking and about things that they know and with that case. And anyway, then I get switched to Richard Allen and I'm like looking at updates for news and I see Delphi murders victims died in ritual sacrifice by white nationalists practicing Odinism. And the first article I saw, it was sacrificed by a pagan religion. They always got to throw pagan in there, girl. They're like, let's just throw in the pagans, throw in the heathens, throw in the pagans. Let's just burn the pagans. We're still burning witches to this day. Let's just burn them all. And I'm like, okay, let's dissect this byline because this is not making much sense to me. And I'm just not going to read something and believe it. Like, I'll do my own little research. So I kind of went down the rabbit hole and, oh, wait a minute. What am I doing? I kind of went down the rabbit hole. So I want to, and I'm not on these social Facebook boards or Twitter or Reddit or any of that crap. I'm sure people have their theories. And maybe this was like the conspiracy theory all along with this case. I don't know. All I know is I went down the rabbit hole this morning. Let me try. Because when I saw pig and I was like, mm-mm, girl, don't come for me. So, okay, how do I share a screen again? I always do this. All right. Share screen. Share. It's been a long time since it's been on this StreamYard. I'm like, what's the live streaming thing with the duck's head on it? I couldn't even remember what it was. So here we go. So this is what I see. And this is what I see. And I'm like, why am I seeing this? And what the heck are they talking about? Because this is giving me Nicole Kessinger vibes, and everybody was like, oh, she did yoga and she had crystals and she was into Wicca. And oh my God, and she's like, it was ritualistic. And she gave him this green stone and he must have drank something. I mean, if you believed in that, I'm sorry. But girl, go to the library and get some books, okay, and educate yourself. Anyway, that is just giving me that kind of vibey vibe. And so I'm reading this and I'm like, what the heck? And Richard Allen claims this was filed yesterday, so I missed it, asserting the girls died in a ritualistic sacrifice. So normally when we hear about sacrifices, ritualistic sacrifices, it's to do with devil worshiping, okay, Satanistic stuff. It's not this case. Now we're on to a Norse pagan religion. So think of the Vikings, think of uh, Odin, think of Thor, think of when Led Zeppelin even sings about Norse mythology in their songs. Now, don't be like, oh my God, Led Zeppelin's involved. Led Zeppelin's anyway. Um, so yeah, they're asserting the girls died in a ritualistic sacrifice by white. So Ode is this group that are white supremacist based that have sadly adopted this pagan theology, much like Hitler did with the occult symbol that transmutated into a symbol of hate, which is the Nazi symbol. I don't know if I'm even allowed to say it. Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? Anyway, I just did. Um, and you know, the symbolisms of things, including the swastika, because Hitler was a big occultist. He collected occult type items. In the movie Indiana Jones, that's what Hitler liked to do. So he was very much immersed in the occult experience. He twisted and transmutated very at once upon a time symbols that did not mean what they mean now. Does that make sense? So, because of this claim that Richard Allen's team is claiming, this is like putting it into a whole different dynamic. So, why this would be the defense's way to take this case is beyond Thunderdome for me. And if they do have cameras in the courtroom during his case, this case is going to be wacky tobacky. Okay. Seriously. Especially if they present evidence, of course, the public won't see it, of pictures of the victims who allegedly were left with Odinistic signatures or Odin, Odin symbols of Odinic symbols, which I'll show you in a minute what those might look like. Well, are they going to look like the swastika? Probably not. The first thing that came to my mind was if the bodies were posed, not physically posed, like things were laid on top of the body. I was thinking perhaps they were going to use the pentagram or the pentacle with the star in the circle. But I think if however they were posed, it might be different symbols. So I'm going to go over that with you. So, hello everybody who's watching. So anyway, so it's a 136-page memorandum supports Allen's request for a hearing to contest the validity of a search warrant. So the filing asserted that several white nationalists practicing the religion Odinism ritually sacrificed, in quotes, the girls, and nothing linked Allen to Odinism or any religious cult. All right, here's this maniacal mastermind who's completely lost his mind. So, where is Richard House right now? Find out. Because then I deep dive. And Odinism is prevalent in prison. Does anybody know where Richard Allen is housed? Okay, hold on. Attorneys for Richard Allen want client moved. All right, let's go to that. Let's go to so here we go. This is Richard Allen want client out alternative theory, ritualistic murder. A ritualistic killing involving cultists, conspiracy among prison guards. All right, so I'm going to explain to you why this is prevalent in prisons because prison itself has a real uh, macho type, high masculinity type environment, right? And many times people, they'll form groups together. So let's see, where is he housed right now? I don't even know where he's at. Does anybody know where he's at? Anybody watching? And they also want the search warrant for Allen's property thrown out. Okay. The theory involves several members of a purported Odinist cult operating in central Indiana. All right. Odinism, sometimes known as Astru, sounds like the never-ending story. There's also an additional dark demonic component to Odinism, Allen's attorneys claim. The good and the evil. Warned about the rise of Odinist beliefs tied to white supremacists. Blah, blah, blah. They point to the crime scene itself in which the girls' bodies were posed and tree branches intentionally placed in a very specific and arranged pattern on and around their bodies. Someone used blood to, see, I don't know any of this. Someone used blood matched, you guys probably know more than I do. Someone used blood matched to one of the girls to paint a symbol similar to the letter F on trees. The F symbol, the defense attorneys contend, is associated with Odinism beliefs. Okay. There are runes. Does anybody know what runes are? Loons. Runes is a divination tool that has Nordic ties. So the F that they're speaking about, all right. Jeez. Just in case you were wondering, I'm gonna educate you and so you don't have to go look for yourself. So the F that they're speaking about is this. Let's see if this pops up. Fehu is a rune, okay? And I have a bag of runes. I don't know where they are, but in my earliest days when I started to teach myself how to read the tarot cards, I also had runes. I also had animal cards, which is like an oracle card. And um, so runes were a fun thing to do, especially the feel of them in the bag, and you'd pull one and read the book and all this stuff. Fehu is most likely what they're talking about in terms of this F being painted on trees. Okay. And Fehu itself, why they would use Fehu, let's see. I think Fehu is very positive. Okay, so Fehu means well. Old Norse represents the F sound in Futhark alphabets. Its name means wealth. Okay, translates to wealth. So let's share this so you can see what I'm talking about. So, what? Okay, so you're telling me somebody painted the Nordic rune of Fehu, which means wealth, next to the bodies of these girls. When there are darker runes to write or paint something onto a tree. All right, this is really like just really bizarre to me. So it's financial independence, energy to make. It's also representing cattle and life. Focus on a brighter tomorrow. And of course, they have inverted positions or reversed meanings as well. So Fehu literally means cattle, mobile property, new beginnings, wealth, money, food, sustenance, initial conditions, luck, personal power, circulation of power. Unless this was done in a ritualistic setting, that rune might have been painted on a tree near the bodies to represent the sacrifice of these girls in terms of wanting wealth or wanting luck. Okay, if that's what they're going to claim, Richard Allen's defense claim needs to really educate themselves on what runes are, because that's what I'm thinking is what was painted. All right, so allegedly, I don't know if this is even true, but this is on the news, so but still, I don't even know if this is true. So they believe the slayings were the work of more than one person. Okay, so what I wanted to show you are some symbols of Odinism and then go into what Odinism is and why it's prevalent in prisons. And I'm going to pull this up. Let's see if this pops up. Hi, Tracy. Sorry, girl. I'm like blah, blah, blah. There could be a cult thing, but that does not make Alan innocent. I think he was for sure part of it. I think they were used for a snuff film. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. That's why I think this is so like far-fetched and just like very interesting that the defense team would even make this claim. And I think that Alan has heard about, now that he's in prison, has seen these groups in prison and has kind of adopted an idea of his own. And, they're always talking about his mental fragile state. I don't think he's mentally fragile at all. I think it's fake. So anyway, hold on a second. I'm drinking my hot tea for my morning breakfast. Now it's a cold tea. Okay, so here's some symbols of Odin, Odinistic, Odin rune symbols, Nordic symbols. There's different types of symbols. You see the triangles, the three triangle here. Um, there's different symbolisms as to the meanings of those. The heart of Odinism. So white supremacists have adopted this religion. It was not, ravens are associated with Odin. That's one of his totem animals is ravens. Um, we've got that symbol, which also means something. The three interlocking triangles pointing upwards associated with death and Odin's welcome of slain warriors is this one. So what was the symbols of branches and stuff on the victims is what I'm wondering. Did you read the document? Did they release the document? And then you have ravens, the constant companions of Odin, a symbol of wisdom and knowledge. Much like the owls with Athena, the Greek goddess Athena, ravens are also associated with the other goddesses. Um, so Odin has an extremely close affiliation to warrior shamans. So when we think of the Vikings, we think of these warriors, these great mythological, bigger than life fighters. Okay, so let me see if what else we can pull up. Oh my, yeah, 100 pages. Did you read all of it, or did you watch somebody who went over it? That's a lot. 130 pages, but Richard Allen wants cameras in the courtroom, so I think that's going to be really fascinating if they do, because what? I want to hear them explain why they think he didn't do it and this is a ritualistic killing, because I would be very interested in how they're going to present this case. Like, wow. So here's different. Here's the Valkanut, symbol of Odin, triple horn of Odin, Celtic knot, Triforce Odin symbol. Very much, it looks like to me like a they call it a triskel. I have a book of symbols. I should have gotten that out. Let's see what else. So there's also the eight-legged horse that's associated with Odin. Let's look at this one. So here's that's on Pinterest. Can I go to Pinterest? Oh wait, there's a bunch of them here. Viking symbols. Viking necklace. I'm thinking either if this is true, that the bodies had symbolisms of either these triangles laid across them or these, yeah, Triskele, Viking rune, uh, if you can see that. Because I'm wondering what would be the symbolism that they're talking about. Because if they're saying they were laid out with like pentagrams or pentacles, that has nothing to do at all with uh, Odinism. So, all right, let's go back. So let's see. I wanted to show you. Hi, everybody who's watching. So I wanted to show you, and it also could be the swastika symbol. That's another theory that I have right now. And I don't know if am I even allowed to show that on YouTube? I don't know if I am. Honestly, I don't know if I can do that, but everybody knows what that looks like. So you can Google this yourself, but the holy Odinic symbols are the swastika, or they called it the fly foat. Okay, fly foat. Let me share this. Hey, Richie girl, I came on to talk about all this because I think it's fascinating that they're going to present this as the case, his defense team. And man, I would just love to, if they're going to have cameras in the courtroom, because Richard Allen wants cameras. I would love to see how they come about with this, like how they're going to prove that. And also claims of how the victims were positioned with sticks and I guess grass or leaves or whatever to make it look like a ritualistic signature through Odinist symbols. And I'm wondering what symbols these branches were across the victims. So going over that, and swastika is one of them. If anything, I'm thinking that that's what they used. I don't think they're going to get so intricate and and I'm thinking it's the swastika, but I don't know. So here we are about information. Holy, I'm actually on an Odinic rite website, which is this white supremacist website. They go by faith, folk, and family. I'm actually on their website right now. So I'm glad you're listening from work. Hey. So missed you guys. So they go to about the etymology of the word. Um, the sign swastika must have existed long before the name was given to it. It must have been in existence long before the Buddhist religion of the Sanskrit language. So this goes way back. So they used to call it fivefold in Great Britain, meaning four-footed or many-footed, the symbol of the swastika. The word fivefold is Scandinavian in nature and is compounded of two Norse words. So the common meaning of the swastika or five filefold, filefold. Anyway, was of cycles. This is the original meaning before Hitler destroyed it. Okay. You do your research. This is not something I'm making up. Was of cycles, the natural cycles in the cosmos. Okay. And this is actually true, and it's actually on this Odinist Odinic right website, which is what Richard Allen's defense team is claiming the people from this group killed the girls. So I'm actually on one of their websites. I wonder how anyway. So what they're writing about the origins is actually based in fact. This is true, which they're not claiming it to be all about white supremacy, but they actually talk about it. Um, so representing cycles, for example, this is of the year, winter, spring, summer, fall, the phases of life, birth, life, death, and rebirth. The phases of the moon, lunar, waxing, full, waning moons, the the earth, the the different directions of the wind, east, south, north, and west. So they've taken from this pagan religion a lot of things. All right. And they go on and on and on and on. And they're talking about who Thor, god of thunder, is the patron and protector of the peasants, of course. So Thor was a big deal. Wasn't there like a show about the Vikings and Thor and all that stuff? I don't really know. Um, all right, so they're talking about that. They're also talking about how there's a cone of power, swastika rising ritual to raise regenerative energy to draw it into yourself. So it's also used in ritual. Symbolisms are all often used in rituals anyway. So, all right, the Third Reich. So the fivefold or swastika, the political usage of this ancient and holy symbol. We must decry all efforts to associate any of our holy symbols with a political belief system or party. The power it had in the hearts of the Germans as the party rose to power and led Germany was overwhelming. Has a primal draw deep within our folk memory, and it was quite possibly for this reason that the leaders of the Third Reich chose it for their party. They knew something of its primal power, the divine energy that sparked it in the spirits of the people, and they abused this powerful folk memory to serve their own ends. Wow. I wonder if, anyway, This is really fascinating to me. Okay, so what the heck? All right, so let's go to if not Alan, who's responsible? All right, let me go back. Let me try to find this article that I found. Hello, hello, hello. Um, I put on my headphones with this little microphone. I'm like, welcome to Psychic Airways. I am your host. All right, Odinism. Odinism. We're getting school today in Odinism. All right. Oh, try to find that one article. How's everybody doing? We're back together again. Tracy, I can't believe you guys keep your your Mystic Village titles. I think you were Mystic Village Saint, or you were the secretary or the treasurer, but I think you're Mystic Village. Aren't you Mystic Village Saint? I don't remember. Oh, cool. Um, I love you guys. Okay. I love you guys. Let's see. Let's go to this one. I couldn't believe it this morning. I woke up to that. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Say that's what it is. Yeah, Mystic Village Saints. Saint Tracy. Saint Tracy's in the house. All right. I'm gonna share this article. Share the screen. I always forget how to use this. Here we go. I'm sharing the screen. Unreal. Okay, alternative theory of ritualistic murder. Did I already go over this? All right. I already did this. I already went to this article. Sorry. Wrong one. Okay, here it is. I shared this earlier. This is the one I want to talk about. Let's go back. You guys ready for fall? It's almost fall, y'all. All right, so here we have this is the article I found this morning that was written 5 years ago. So these groups, the Odinistic groups in terms of links to white supremacy really launched in the early 90s. Why does white supremacist Odinism thrive in prisons? This came out 5 years ago. So, prejudice forms one of the core beliefs of white supremacist Odinism. Mass incarceration has provided white supremacists a place to recruit alienated white prisoners. Okay, how alienated is Richard Allen right now, right? I don't think has contact with anybody, but I think he's heard something. Okay, let's see. What is white supremacist Odinism? because the news outlets are just saying Odinism. They need to attach to a white supremacist Odinism, especially for the people out there that actually practice Odinism or Norse religions. And I know there are people out there like that, and it's not fair to them. That's all I'm saying. Because it's really separate the two. So the social origins, okay, they're saying white supremacist Odinism, which this person, a chaplain liaison for heathen prison in reach services of the trough. Okay. Calls it a romantic cult that emerged from theosophy and traveled to modernity through the Nazi Party. All right. They may claim to worship gods with the same names as some but white supremacist Odinism is a fundamentally a different thing and must be understood it as such. All right. Who knows, for all we know, Richard Allen could have been involved in that. Do you know what I'm saying? Who knows what that freaky little freak was doing? I mean, we don't know what he was doing, or he knew of it and he could have staged it to look like that. So in Odinism, it's polytheistic, which means there's many different gods. Not so much goddesses, but there's a lot of primarily the gods are worshipped. Okay. Uh, and news outlets are calling it paganism. Um, but the white supremacist Odinists are, for the most part, hostile to paganism. White supremacist Odinism may seek shelter under the larger pagan umbrella, which is very, which is what this is. Okay. That's what they're doing. The news people they're putting it under the pagan umbrella, and it has nothing to do with that. So this was interesting. I was like, what? So Madame Blavatsky, who I've heard about, she was a famous clairvoyant. Uh, she was around 1831 to 1891. She died. German Russian occultist. Okay, founded the Theosophical Society in 1875. Now, I've heard about her, and this is where the swastika, because she was an occultist, she allegedly popularized the swastika and promoted the idea of a superior Aryan race. But I've heard about her in psychic circles because she's a famous clairvoyant. So let me try to find a picture of her. There's books about her and everything. Um, if I pull up her picture, if you guys have heard of her, you might know who I'm talking about. This is probably the front of her. Let's see if that pulls up. Did that pull up? Yes. So that's what she looks like. And she's on Pinterest, she's on TikTok. People talk about her. So allegedly she has ties to promoting the occult symbol of the swastika. So, huh, I never knew that. When I read that this morning, I was like, what? What? Uh, she's German Russian. we could go in more into that about her. That would be interesting to read. So there she is. So she's involved in this white supremacy Odinist thing that Richard Allen is claiming. Also, uh, so this Odinist tradition with white supremacist Odinist tradition really starts going back to Madame Blavatsky. Okay. And this is like a long time ago. And who knew one day that it would be linked to the Delphi case? I'm down a complete rabbit hole this morning. I don't know about you. I'm down a complete rabbit hole with this. Okay, so I'm going to share this. If you look at if you go to the origins of things, you would be shocked and amazed. Okay, so conditions in prisons that foster the growth of white supremacist Odinism. Isolation and violence of prisons forces most prisoners to need a primary social group for support and protection. There is a fly in here. This need may drive prison behavior. It increases the power of peer pressure. I'm pretty sure he's in isolation, probably like 24 hours a day. But doesn't mean he doesn't hear things. Bowman stressed that prisoners can leave white supremacist Odinism if they have somewhere else to go. Okay. Da-da-da-da-da. Uh, Toxic masculinity. Most of the Odinists I know inside prison consciously present as more masculine than most. Male prison culture has a macho component with lots of toxic masculinity. He compared it to middle school. In that environment, the more tolerant people will often be quiet from fear of ostracism or being ostracized. Most of those who fall into racist Odinism, which it is, by accident do so because there isn't much else available in prison. Okay. Most people use terms like white supremacy, Odinist, and fascist without clear definitions. So, an Odinist is someone who gives lip service to honoring Odin, all right, who's a Nordic god that Richard Allen is claiming people that worship Odin killed these girls as a form of ritual to the god Odin, meaning the F on the trees, which is Fehu, which is a rune, uh, whatever else was if there were offerings left there next to the bodies, that's one thing. But painting F on a tree, I don't know if that says much in terms of symbolism in a ritual to Odin. I don't know. But I would think other offerings would have been left next to the bodies. Do you know where I'm going with that? And who knows if there were other things left, but positioning some sort of Odinist symbol on their bodies with twigs and branches, I'm thinking is either uh, the swastika or another symbol. All right. But also, were there offerings left on or near the bodies? We'll know when that happens, when that's something to think about. Okay, moving on. Uh, so an Odinist is someone who gives lip service to honoring Odin in Norse or Germanic culture. They draw on the tradition first established by Guido von List. All right, he's all the way up here. What was he about? Guido von List. This is going way back. 1848 to 1919 was a Romantic pan-German writer. He developed the philosophy of Armanism or Aristophy. Armanism refers to a supposed order of priest kings of the ancient Germans. Aristophy refers to the study of wisdom concerning the Aryans, the Aryan race. He had a great influence on Heinrich Himmler. Von List's idea of the Arminist priesthood formed the basis of Himmler's, I can't even say that, Schutzstaffel. Okay. Whew, man, this this is deep. All right, so you can go to prison and fall into racist Odinism by accident. So the full society and Nazis carried this on and amplified that tradition. Then a person named Elsie Christensen introduced it to the US. Oh, there's that name. Elsie Christensen introduced it to oh my Lord. All right, so this is how it got here, and this is how it got into the ear of Richard Allen, was through Elsie Christensen at the end of World War II. All right, Elsie Christensen became the next link. This is a woman. She and her husband were Danish Nazi sympathizers. All right. You're getting a history lesson on Odinism and why Richard Allen's team, for some reason, is coming up with this. It's actually really kind of weird and probably one of the strangest. Uh, I'm like, God, the internet's going to have fun with this one because, okay. So, Elsie Christensen, end of World War II, her husband, they were Danish Nazi sympathizers. They left Denmark after the war for England and then Canada. And then in the late 60s, they founded the Odinist Fellowship and then she relocated to Florida. In 1971, she relocated again to Crystal River. Has anybody ever heard of Crystal River? On Florida's Central Gulf Coast. She wrote to prisoners promoting white supremacy through Odinism. Wow. So this woman from Denmark moves to Florida in the 70s and brings white supremacy Odinism to this country. So really, wow. Okay. So it began in Florida. Christensen was able to obtain federal and state prison systems recognition for Odinism as a religion. U.S. white supremacist Odinists recognize her as the grandmother of their movement. Grandma, white supremacist grandma's here now. Oh my God. Okay. Well, if you want to know how it got to the United States and who it was and who they credit for it, it's this person, Elsie Christensen. All right. So anyway, um, I wonder, man, this all is just really wackadoodle. I wonder, I want to see something. Um, how's everybody doing? Are you guys enjoying this? Or are you just like, what in the world? Um, let's see. Let's look up offerings you can give to Odin. This is where we're going next. Offerings that you can give to Odin. Because I'm wondering what was left, if anything was left. If this is the case, if this is true, and Richard Allen had nothing to do with this, I want to know if there was any offerings left So offerings, I'm pulling up this screen. Offerings to Odin. Norse shamanism online. I don't work with Odin. Um, however, I know who he is because of uh, using the runes years ago, reading books about, when you read books about Wicca, Norse gods will pop up and Egyptian gods will pop up. And so, okay, Odin's considered the All Father, associated with wisdom, poetry, war, divination, magic. Making offerings to Odin can help you to form a deep connection to him. When you ask something of Odin or request his help, then giving him an offering is a way to thank him for his support. That's very typical when you're working with a deity or saint or a god or a goddess or a spirit of some type. That's very typical. Incense, water, alcohol, even wine, flowers, food. It's also very specific to that deity, god, or saint. So it just depends. But let's see what he likes. This is very normal. This isn't weird. Okay, so Odin likes hearty grains such as oats, wheat berries, barley, and buckwheat, which symbolize growth, prosperity, sustenance. Cooked meat, not raw meat. This symbolizes strength, robustness, and vitality. Fruits such as apples, pears, peaches, plums, apricots. Berries, if you can get them, lingonberries. They grow lingonberries in Indiana. Wine, ale, or mead. Poetry or creating art. How to make an offering. But the real question is, I don't believe that Odin's something that you would ritualistically kill young girls over. Just make that clear. I'm not saying that you do that with Odin. I don't believe so at all. Okay? I don't believe so. Um, let's go to this one. Yeah. Um, let's do this one. Altarings and altars and offerings for Odin. I'm just curious. Colors are gray, deep cobalt blue, and black. Symbols: spear, wolves, ravens, val, valknot. Altar suggestions: pipe with tobacco, the 9 sacred herbs, ash leaves, elm leaves, parsley, woad, cinquefoil grass, horehound, periwinkle runes. Okay, especially Anzus, Wunjo, Kibo, and Othala. So he has specific runes to him. I'm gonna look that up. Food and drink, good quality alcohol, mead, good dry red wine, whiskey, and other hard liquor, especially aquavit. I don't know what that is. Smoked salmon, red meat, especially beef. Spear-like vegetables such as leeks, asparagus, garlic. The latter actually means spear leek. Okay. People make donations or volunteer your time to a veterans organization. All right. That's interesting. I'm just looking up offerings to Odin. And then there's stuff on Reddit on offerings to Odin. 9 ways to work with Odin. Okay, let's go to this because this is what they're claiming is their big defense for Richard Allen is this is what they're claiming. 9 ways to work with Odin, the All-Father. Norse Germanic All-Father, the master of ecstasy. Odin is known by many, many names. One-eyed seeker, Wotan, Woden, All-Father. He can make for a formidable and or a noble ally. How with Odin? Because Richard Allen is claiming, and I would think if this Odinist pagan group killed the victims in Delphi as a ritual, they would have made offerings to Odin. So I'm wondering how they would go about doing that. I'm just like, oh my God. Okay. Let's see. Odin's. Okay. There's a lot of history, mythology about Odin, teaches what it means to be a warrior. I think the warrior aspect of him, all father aspect archetype of him, and his okay. 9 ways to work with Odin sacrifice. Number 1. So if this is the case, and anybody who's wondering what is she talking about, been on here for about an hour. Richard Allen's defense team came out yesterday. Tracy read it with a 130-page document outlining that there's no way that he had anything to do with it. It was a white supremacist Odinistic group who ritualistic killing of these girls. What does that mean? So I'm here to find out for you. Okay. Because when I read that this morning, I was like, what? Huh? What? What do you that and here we did a deep dive. Okay. So Odin, listen to this. Odin is one of the most responsive deities I have ever known. I've also known individuals whose experiences with Odin are wrathful, harsh, or capricious. He favors leaders, writers, academics, worthy warriors, soldiers, women of the occult, nomads, truth seekers, and those that travel in the liminal spaces. There are many ways to work with this all knowing God. And we all know this didn't happen, but Richard Allen is claiming that it did. So I'm wondering if it did, and if people do this, um, and I'm not bashing Odin at all, or those that follow Odin, because I don't believe any of this. I'm just wondering how the defense is going to present their case because they themselves a little bit about what they're claiming, don't you think? I mean, I don't know. Odin made a lot of sacrifices. He sacrificed his eye to his uncle Mimir to drink the well of wisdom. He hung himself upside down from Yggdrasil, the world tree. So the hangman image, let me find you. Of course, I have tarot cards right next to me. Why wouldn't I? Let me find you the hangman in the tarot deck, and you'll know this card. The hangman is taken from Yags. I can't say the word Yggdrasil tree, the tree where the person is hung upside down. That's from. So that's Odin attributes in Norse mythology or reality. So here he is. So let me show you this. So here's the hangman, and that's see behind him the imagery. There's no tree in this image. He's upside down, typically hanging from a tree. If you read in traditional tarot books, they'll talk about the tree of Yggdrasil. Okay, and this card means having to sacrifice something in order to get what you want, but you're not sure if you have to sacrifice that. Because if that's what you want, you're going to have to sacrifice this. And you're hung up about doing that because of the decision in order to make that sacrifice. Does that make sense? So it stems from Odin. Oh my God, Fly, I hate you. Anyway, um, so let's go back to that. So where was I? So sacrifice is one. Dedicate altar. Odin loves self-sacrifice. The more you love something and the longer are willing to give it up, the better the reward Odin will bestow upon you. There's nothing that says kill people for me and I'll reward you. Okay. We'll have altar spaces. Uh, the number 9 is associated because Odin hung himself in sacrifice for 9 days and 9 nights from the Yggdrasil tree. He was starved and dehydrated. So the number 9, as well as wearing the Valk nut symbol as an amulet. An amulet. What? Hold on a second. Let's do this real quick. Are you guys still with me? Oh, it's already on this page. Oh, there it is. Now I'm going to pull this page up because this is like the symbol in terms of when you think about more so than the swastika. I don't know what these white supremacist Odinistic groups are using as a symbol. I have to Google that, I guess, but um, this is Odin's symbol. This is the Valk nut. You'll see this pop up. So the 3 triangles here, the ads popping up. Uh, That's the Valkanut. The Valkanut invokes power and to feel the All-Father's protection around for wisdom and strength. Many who walk the Norse pagan path, and in particular those who are devotees of Odin, have this symbol. Um, so I'm just wondering why Richard Allen's team would come up with this theory, unless Richard Allen himself believes that. You know what I mean? I'm just this morning. I'm like, freaking kidding me? Like, what? Um, but of course, Odin has pagan origins because it's pre-Christian. All right. And a ritualistic killing involving cultists. Uh, and maybe that's the conspiracy that's been going around. I don't know how this or when and how it generated, but just the fact that his defense team would actually present that as their case has me scratching my head because it's enough for me to take a deep dive into why. All right. and just really strange. So, just really strange. Um, but nothing links him to this. Nothing links him to anything. It's just what was placed at the crime scene. And don't you think that perhaps he did that on purpose? So there's evidence of possible Odinisms placed at the crime scene uh, through the arrangement of using sticks and tree branches, and the victims' bodies were arranged with these sticks and tree branches, and that their blood was used to paint an image resembling the letter F on a nearby tree. It's claimed theory and have not been proven to Norse theology and mythology, and that's linked to runes. And the letter F in runes, which I think they're speaking about, is Fehu. And let's pull up the Viking runes just so that you can see what they all look like if you don't know. So let me share this because you tell me what you think the F is, because this is what I think it is. If this is what they're claiming, where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. So here we are. If you can see that, I can't. Well, that's the F. Okay. But this is all of the Viking runes. Um, Now let me click on this one because this one actually there could be another one. Oh, this is Pinterest. I'm on Pinterest. Hold on. Maybe Pinterest will solve the case. So here's some Viking runes. Okay. We have this S here, this F here, which is Anzu's, write it down as signals. Then you have an F here, Fehu, which is wealth. So was the F with the sticks down or the sticks up? Okay. So those could be two Fs. All right. And if letters with the letter F were written in blood from the girls' bodies, which is really disturbing to me. And which F was it? Was it this one with signals or Fehu as wealth? Because if you're going to ritualistically kill and offer, the offerings would, of course, be the girls' bodies. That's the offering to Odin. I don't think Odin's down with ritualistic killings of minor children. I'll just say that. How are they going to prove that? And which F was it? Let's look up Anzu's signal. So let's look this up. Anzu's signals. Anzu's. So Ansu's is the rune associated to the supreme god Odin. Its symbol represents Odin's mouth. So it's probably that one. Oh, then maybe this one was the one that was painted on the tree. Okay, so the one that's pointed down. The one that is pointed down. Why isn't it showing me? Hold on a second. I'm going to pull it up for you. The one that is pointed down. All right. All right. I'm going to pull this up for you. All right. I have to put my fan on me. I'm getting hot. So they're claiming that an F was written on the tree in blood, and this is the rune that they're talking about because this is Odin's rune. All right. This is what it looks like. See if that pulls up. So it's pointed down. And the first one was pointed up, which is signifies wealth. So this might be Odin's rune if that's the F that they're speaking about. Let's look at the meaning of this. So Anzu's runes revealing message or inside communication, signals, inspiration, enthusiasm, speech, true vision, power of words, and naming and receiving blessings, the taking of advice, good health, harmony, truth, wisdom. Reversed or Merkstav represents misunderstanding, delusion. So if it's upside down, represents misunderstanding, delusion, manipulation by others, boredom, vanity, and grandiloquence. Wow, what a word. Grandiloquence. Odin is a mighty but duplicitous god. He always has his own agenda. So they're claiming that there was an F painted on a tree in blood. And if that's the F, and that's Odin's rune, and they're claiming that this is a ritualistic killing by an Odinist group that's, uh, oh my God. So that might be the F that they're talking about. Okay. I'm just like, I'm just kind of amazed. So I wonder where you can find the 130-page document. Oh my. All right. When you Google Richard Allen, it comes up as somebody else. Oh, okay. So I'm back. So I wonder if we can read the document. I wonder if there is an Odinist cult operating in central Indiana. But where can you find the Richard Allen document, I wonder? All right. All right, we're back. Hello, we're back. All right, y'all. What are your thoughts? Those that are watching, those that want to comment, what are your thoughts about this whole thing? Because I just am like, I don't really know. And how's the defense going to present their case? I mean, they're going to have to prove it somehow. Um, what's this say? Two teenage Indiana girls were killed in ritual sacrifice, attorneys argue. Lawyers contend members of a pagan Norse religion hijacked by white nationalists ritualistically sacrificed the girls. This just came out 30 minutes ago. Oh my God. Action news. Um, yeah, they're claiming that they were killed by members of a pagan Norse religion and white nationalist group known as Odinists. Um, the attorneys claim from the Rushville area in southeastern Indiana were investigated for their involvement in the crimes. They say investigators found multiple ritualistic symbols at the crime scene, including the way Liberty's body was positioned. Hmm. The defense filing claims possible Odinism signatures, including ritualistic symbols, were left at the crime scene, but that investigators abandoned that angle. Also, they've named several potential suspects who have not been charged in the case. Hmm. I'm going to try to find the court document and read that, and then maybe come back on later tonight if I can. But that's the deep dive. If you're wondering what this all maybe means, um, what Odin is, what Odinism is, what Odinists are, what the symbolisms might be, what all this is. So I just don't know. I really don't. But I'm happy to come on and had time to pop on. But I's got to go. And I's got to go. But I love you guys. And I'll try to come back on tonight. And sorry it's been forever since I've been on. But I'll try to come back on tonight if I can find the court filing. I don't know how to find that. Tracy said it's long, so. Anyway, all right, I'll be back on, and thank you for watching, and I hope that you found this interesting as well. All right, love you guys. Gotta go. Make good choices. Don't hear voices. All right, love you guys. Bye.